Reporting there. Now, the Chamberlains aside, few are keener to hear today's verdict than John Bryson, a man who knows the story inside out.
Bryson, of course, is the author of Evil Angels, the book that was made into a film starring Meryl Streep as Lindy Chamberlain. John Bryson says the coroner's original verdict found the dingo took the baby, and he expects that finding to be repeated today.
It's a complicated story, but the first coroner, Denny Barrett, who was a very straight guy, was appalled at the treatment of the Chamberlains publicly, made a public apology, had the television in his coroner's court, so to broadcast his finding, his apology to the parents, and his castigation of the Parks and Rangers Department, because this story began not with the disappearance of the child, but many weeks before the child was born, when the Chief Ranger, Derek Roth, warned his department that such a thing could easily happen because the behaviour of the dingoes had deteriorated so much, and that was ignored. And then when the event happened, the Rangers' first thought was, well, my God, it's finally happened.
Do you believe, after all of these years and, of course, closely observing the case, that Lindy and Michael Chamberlain got a pretty bad rap from both the NT judiciary and the media, which was certainly the media coverage of the case in those early years?
Yes, I do. That's an interesting question too, because there were, not only in the Northern Territory, but the case went to the federal and the high courts on appeal, and there were plenty of opportunities for the appellate jurisdictions to step in and stop this from going on and on, and they were failed by the appellate courts. We've got to look at why and how that happens, I think.
And John Bryson, of course, you firmly believe that a dingo did take the baby, but if the finding from the coroner is along those lines today, do you expect that to completely dispel the very serious doubts a lot of Australians still have to this very day about Lindy Chamberlain's innocence?
No, I think certain aspects of our culture will mean that there'll always be suspicion and rumours about that. It's simply the way a society, a modern society works, that there will be pockets of derision, really, that will keep on being active, whatever the finding. I think that if the finding comes down as it should, then an interesting question is whether that should be the end of it, because this is such an appalling occurrence that I really think that it began as a witch hunt. I think it should end as a witch hunt. We should be looking at who were the people behind this incredible and over-enthusiastic prosecution of this tragic family.
So were you suggesting a legal pursuit of these people if the finding comes down in Lindy Chamberlain's favour?
That's certainly a good possibility, but certainly other people can play their part. For example, journalists.
And John Bryson, how do you believe Lindy Chamberlain and Michael Chamberlain have held themselves up all these years?
Well, absolutely with their deep religion. I'm not a religious person, but looking at, and I don't know them that well, I thought that's not my job to become friendly with these folk. My job is to analyse what's going on. But really, the depth of their religion is the only answer for the way that you could stop from going mad under these circumstances.